How founders can dispel the myth that more people equals more revenue. Hi, Patrick from Founder Revenue Academy. This episode is part of our People series and is episode number 3. So let's get started. I just need more bodies and then that will get me more revenue. Yes, this is true in part, but when you're a bigger business. When you're a startup, human resources, so recruitment, salaries, national insurance, all that kind of thing, is often your largest capex. And a pitfall we see are startups trying to emulate larger businesses, either in terms of ad copy or sales process or messaging, far too early. So just a quick word of warning, finding your own voice and being true to that is what you need to focus on, as opposed to just thinking, well, it's worked for Adobe, it worked for Oracle, it worked for Salesforce, we'll just copy that. So what can we do? Founder Revenue Academy believe in revenue first. This is to say, focus on revenue before anything else. This is not to say profit is not a great thing to focus on. However, this is a startup. You are likely going to be loss-making in the first year, and so lessening the gap between losses incurred and revenue generated is the thing to focus on. And I shall give you an example of how to think in this way. Profit is an optimizer. You need to have the revenue in order to have profit, so it makes sense at this very early stage to focus on revenue first as opposed to profit. I want to introduce you to the sales velocity formula. This is a calculation to produce the amount of money that is flowing through your business on a daily basis. Think of it like a pipe, just the amount of money that's going through. It's calculated by the number of deals you have in flight, times by your average contract value, times by your win rate, divided by the sales cycle. So let us say that the number of deals you have is 50, your average contract value is £10,000, and your win rate is 25% with a 90-day sales cycle. When you work this out, the result is £1,388 per day, or £1,388 per day. If we multiply this by 365, we get a total revenue of £506,620. Now, let us say your target is a 75% uplift in revenue. From this figure, you may want to go and hire someone or think that's the solution. This would incur recruitment costs, salary, national insurance, commissions, ramp time, notice periods, and the list sort of goes on and on and on. However, an alternative is to optimize your current process with the resources you have already. So for example, we keep the same formula and we up our pricing, and by result, our ACV by 20% to £12,000. We then look to reduce the sales cycle by 2 weeks from 90 days to 75 days. And we also looked at ways in which we can improve our win rate from 25% to 33%. If we do the same formula as before, we notice that the amount flowing through the pipe with these new numbers is 2,640, which when multiplied by 365 gives us total revenue of £963,600, which is a 90% increase from last year, smashing your 75% target. This alternative way of thinking demonstrates a solution that encourages optimizing your current process by focusing on the things you can control, like how much you charge, how judicious you are with follow-up between sales interactions, and how well you interact with your target market. It arguably gets you better results with no additional spending and improves your revenue markedly without any external spend or support. So the figures in this are illustrative only, but the point was to demonstrate that more people does not necessarily mean more revenue. It can be quite the opposite, in fact. That wraps up today's video. Remember, we create these videos a lot to help our founders and run these mini-series on all the key pillars of scaling B2B tech startups. So if you haven't seen the other videos in this People series or the other series at all, please check them out, and also don't forget to join our community, which is the link below, where you'll see all this content and get to interact with many like-minded founders. I'll see you in there.